begin in around 30 seconds, so if you can find your seats, that will be amazing. Yeah, I'm counting in my head till 30. 30? All right. Welcome to Branch's third annual Gala. My name is Libby Hertz, and I'm a proud Beis Rivka mother. And here's my little sidekick, Tova. She's Beis Rivka girl too, in 7th grade. It's an honor for me to be here tonight with you. For tonight's event, sometimes parenting is a laughing matter. So I'm going to just start with a little story. A few weeks ago, 2 Jewish men were sitting in a kosher deli in New York. They were speaking Yiddish together when a Chinese waiter started speaking to them in perfect Yiddish. The Jewish men stared at him in shock. After they paid the bill, they asked the Jewish restaurant owner, where did the waiter learn such fabulous Yiddish? So the manager looked around and leaned in so no one could hear, and he said, shh, he thinks we're speaking to him in English. So this is not what we mean when we say we want Yiddish nachas. As mothers, we're their keres habayis, and we're entrusted with the responsibility to educate our daughters and instill Yiddish and Hasidic values in them. And we don't want to raise robots that are just parenting us and just saying what we want them to say. We want the values to be real to them. And Branches was started by Beis Rivka in order to inspire and uplift mothers and help us on this awesome task of raising the next generation. The other day, someone sent me a video of my daughter. It was Hanukkah, and she was lighting the menorah for an 80-year-old woman. And my other high school daughter was also there. Someone sent me this video, and they were both smiling, and this old woman was sitting there smiling and really enjoying them singing. And it just reminded me of the days when I was younger, and I was in Beis Rivka doing Mifsayim with my friends, and it felt so good to be connected to my daughter in that way. And home and school are a circle of education, and when both of us are on the same page, our daughters feel empowered, uplifted, and like they truly belong. So we want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy mommy schedules to join us tonight, and we hope you leave inspired and uplifted. So let's begin. Let's rise, and please join us for the Rebbe and Rebbetzins Kapitel, which is going to be on the screen.
Hine la yanam
At this Hanukkah gathering, we'd love to do Torah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah together. So we just said it's Tefillah, and you can now give Tzedakah. The Tzedakah is on the table in front of you, and we will soon have our words of Torah. Whatever age your daughter is, from preschool to high school, parenting can be a challenge. It's often overwhelming to figure out what approach to use. This is where Chinuch with Simcha comes in. Simcha is more than the atmosphere we create, it's a tool for effective Chinuch. As Hasidim, we place particular emphasis on Chinuch, and we're going to explore that tonight. And no one can teach more about the importance of Simcha than the ultimate role model of Chinuch, our Rebbe. Please enjoy a short clip from the Rebbe discussing the importance that Simcha has in every aspect of our lives.
In these precious few minutes before you realize I'm awake, I promise myself, today will be a good day. Today I'll parent with purpose. Today I'll be conscious of raising you in line with the Torah and Menschlichkeit. Today I'll spend time with you and each sibling individually, so you all know how important you are to me, your mother. Today you'll listen for the first time, speak respectfully, and say thank you for dinner. Today will be smooth, happy, calm, and enjoyable. And then the day begins with shrieks, a missing shoe, and an unwanted breakfast. Homework that was forgotten about yesterday, a frantic rush to the bus honking outside. As I see you off, I take a deep breath. Is this the parenting I dreamed of? Why doesn't this work? Where are all my chinuch tools? Am I giving you what you need to navigate the coming years? Am I even a good mother?
So hold der Dobe der Derech HaMeller, der rief der Hawaii bis Simcha. Beschaß bis Meise von Simcha in der alle Gimel Kavim von Teira Vedog Milas Chasodim. Was Teire Pasken, als sie darf sein, Kol Masechu, Bechol Drachecha, wird das Echet Atel von Avedes Hashem, von Lechem Shomayim Vedoehu, darf doch das Echet sein in der Nähe von Simcha.
As a bacher, I used to go once a week, Thursday night, to give yeshiurim, chassidus in Koilelim, or the yeshivas. I went to Maskiras and I said that I need to go into Yechidus, and I was given the permit. I wrote to the Rebbe all my feelings, v'chule, v'chule. The Rebbe said, Benegia to what you write, that you complaining, that you cannot do this and cannot do that, and you're not successful in this and not successful in that. Any kind of thought that brings to a person into atzus, into melancholy or the sadness, you have to throw it out. You have to throw it out.
Als in Tag kein Mokim zu Nefilas Ruach, beschaß me macht a Chesben Zedek benafshe, und betracht sich, als voll Pi, was zugetan, gedeles wie nicht Flois. Sein de Kober, ki mit Duber kam Pomim, Netzer Matoi, Meise Jodeli is Spoil, hat so gekonnt Ufton, Schlebe Erech Merer, I dosse die Hisbonenis, was sie darf sein, und sie bedarf bringen Tejeles, Bahanegeia, soll Mikaim sein, dem Zivul von Meilun Bekedisch in Tachlis Ashlemus, aber nicht Chas Scholem bringen, zu Ainien von Atzus, Kemebuir Baruch in Tanja, Pifol Dosse Muschlol, und mit noch Madgisha Teres Emes verlangt von als soll ewig sein, wie Dosse Lekene, mit der Simcha Amitis. Oder demult, wer sagt in sehr, ki Gavna, wie mir sehe, wie das Shem besimcha, is oder demult, is me nechet, me ere, das Spois, Milamailo echet besimcha, als wer tegen von der Chasodim, Nistorim, Mustorim, wird das Heiche Teil Hanide Vanigle, Hatev Lonu Tiftach, Hatev mit Bananeifen, was Meile Simcha.
Those thoughts, that doubt, it's a scheme, a trap, trying to stop me from fulfilling my mission, trying to stop me from parenting you with joy. In these precious few minutes before you realize I'm awake, I promise myself, today will be a good day. Today I'll parent with purpose. Today I'll be conscious of raising you in line with Torah and Menschlichkeit. Today I'll spend time with you and each sibling individually, so you all know how important you are to me, your mother. And today I'll forgive myself if it doesn't go that way. Today I'll realize I am the mother meant for you, and you are the children meant for me. Those voices of doubt I will dismiss as a bad advisor. Today, I will do my best, joyfully.
Mrs. Sameret Barowitz is a popular teacher, speaker, and counselor. Her depth, brilliance, and broad Torah knowledge never fails to inspire her students. Please welcome her to the stage to hear how we can truly raise our families with Simcha. Mrs. Barowitz.
Good evening. Tell me if you hear me okay. You hear me okay? Okay. So first of all, it's an honor for me to be here. I'm happy to, a little bit, lower the mic, closer to me. It's better? Better? Yeah? Okay. It's an honor for me to be here today. And we're all mothers, and we're shouldering the same responsibilities and the same challenges sometimes. And I would like to speak from my heart to your heart. Hopefully, dvarim hayotzi min halev nichnasim el halev. What I've learned throughout the years, and I want to share with you. So, in Parshas Kitetze, Tafshin Memches, 1988, the Rebbe spoke about Simcha. It was Shnat Tismach v'Tisamach, and the Rebbe spoke about Simcha. And the Rebbe said something like that. He said, we tried many, many, many different ways to bring Mashiach. We tried to bring Mashiach through suffering, and it didn't work. We tried to bring Mashiach through pain and crying, and it didn't work. He said, one thing we didn't try. Through Simcha. To bring Mashiach through Simcha. That we didn't try yet. And the Rebbe said something that I didn't see the Rebbe saying ever. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see. The Rebbe says the words, Nasu v'tivachechu. Try and you will see. In other words, the Rebbe is promising that if we're going to do it through Simcha, that will be the tool to bring Mashiach. The Rebbe said, try it and you will see. And because of that, today we're talking about Chinuch b'Simcha, because if we're supposed to be b'Simcha, everything is supposed to be b'Simcha, including parenting, including Chinuch. So today I want to talk about Chinuch through Simcha. I'm not talking today about methods and tools. I'm talking today about perspective. Perspective. That's what I'm talking about. Not methods. There's many, many different methods. You can read self-improvement books, and you can go to this expert and that expert. Here I'm talking about the general, basic perspective that we need to have while parenting. So I'm starting. So first of all, in order to be mechanech b'simcha, in order to be parenting b'simcha, we need to be b'simcha ourselves, right? So I want to say, first of all, the three main things that stop a person from being b'simcha, that doesn't let you be b'simcha, doesn't let you bring this potential out. These three things, really, I can divide it to past, present, and future. I'm going to start with the present. Present. What many times give you a lot of frustrations and a lot of ogmas nefesh and a lot of sadness is the present situation. What do I mean by present situation? Present situation means, ladies, that not always do we get what we want. The difference between what we want and what we have, this is the gap of the gap between what we want and what we have, this is a spectrum of a test. This is what it means, a test. A test means that I don't have what I want. What I envisioned that I will have, I don't have. In Hebrew, we call it the difference between ratzui lematzui. Ratzui means what you want, matzui means what you have. And that gap, a lot of times, gives us a lot of frustrations and ogmas nefesh. We're not happy with what Hashem gave us. So, what is the remedy for that? According to Kabbalah, I'm going to quote here Rabbeinu Bechayeh, but it's also written in the Zohar. Listen very, very carefully, girls. For me, ladies, I'm sorry. For me, it helped me tremendously throughout many, many challenges. Rabbeinu Bechayeh says, before a neshama comes down to this world, before the neshama comes down to this world, Hashem shows you everything that you're going to go through, and you give your consent. Without your consent, Hashem doesn't let you come down. According to the Zohar, there's all kinds of tracks that Hashem gives you and shows you. You can get from point A to point B through all kinds of different tracks, and Hashem shows you them, and you are the one to choose. According to Rabbeinu Bechayeh, I'm quoting, you are the one to choose. You are the one to give consent. How you're going to look, what your intelligence is going to be, who's going to be your husband, what profession is going to be, what's going to be your financial situation, everything you know before. And you give your consent. Without your agreement, Hashem doesn't let you come here into this world. He picks for you another track that you will agree to, which means, my ladies, everything that we are going through, we chose. Many times the point of suffering is to feel that somebody just forced you into a situation. You're just living in a situation that you don't know why and what happened. What did I do? What did I do to deserve it? I feel that a lot of this suffering can be alleviated if you understand that you yourself picked it. You chose it. You gave your agreement before you came into this world. And why did you give your agreement? Because up there you saw that it was for your best. Up there you saw with clarity that for you to go through this journey is going to be the best thing that you could do for your neshama. This kind of children, this kind of husband, this kind of appearance, this kind of lifestyle, everything that you chose is the best journey for your neshama. You chose it. So every time you have a challenge or a difficulty, don't feel like, God, why do you do it to me? You did it, my love. You did it. You did it to yourself. You picked it. And why did you pick it? Because up there you saw the truth. You saw how it is helping you. Down here, once you come down here, everything is concealed. Everything is obscured. So you don't remember. You don't realize why you picked that. Why did I pick this test? Why did I pick this challenge on heaven, for heaven's sake? But up there you saw very clearly that this is what's going to make your journey worthwhile. This is what's going to give benefit to your neshama to go from point A to point B where you're supposed to end up in. And because of that, you chose this track. To understand that even though not everything that you have is what you envisioned and what you wanted, this is what you chose. This is what you picked. You gave your consent and your agreement for a reason, for a good reason, because you understood up there that it's for your benefit. So anytime you meet a challenge, remind yourself, I picked it. I chose it because it's good for me. Right now, I don't know why it's good for me. Right now, I can see how it's good for me, but it is good for me. It will give you, I'm telling you, a relief. Such a relief to understand that everything was predestined and you know why you need to go through this, even though right now you're not aware of it. This is the first explanation. Second, past. So I said there's three different main reasons why a person is sad, why a person is not happy. So the first one is that he's not happy with the current situation. He's not happy with his life. He envisioned things that he doesn't have. The second reason is his past. What do I mean by past? Many times we look in our past and we wish that we did things differently. We wish that we shouldn't have, we couldn't, we didn't have, We wish we wouldn't have done the things that we did. We wish that we would marry somebody else. We wish that the kids would be, growing up in a different way. We wish that you chose a different path. You wish all kinds of things. If I wouldn't have done this, this and this wouldn't have happened. If I wouldn't have gone on this car, the crash wouldn't happen, and so on and so forth. We always have these guilt trips of why did I do this? If I only knew, if I only knew, if I only knew. Ladies, guilt trips are bad. All Jewish mothers have guilt trips. Guilt trips are bad because they leave you buried in suffering, frustrations, helplessness, pain, despair, because you can't change the past. So the moment you are dwelling on the past, you are dwelling on something that you can't change anymore. And you're killing yourself. Why did I do this? Self-blame, self-guilt. Why did I do this? I shouldn't have done this, and so on and so forth. The remedy for that, what is the remedy for that? The remedy for that is to understand that whatever happened was supposed to happen. You are not the reason that it happened. You understand? We are not the reasons that things happen. Things happen because God wanted it to happen. That's it. The fact that you were involved, for the future, you need to learn a lesson. For the future, you need to mend your ways. For the future, you need to rectify. But whatever happened, happened. You cannot oops Hashem. There's no oops to Hashem. Everything that happened was already dictated from 6 days of creation that this is what's going to happen. You are not the reason why it happened. And I'll tell you what I mean. When my daughter was 14, one of my daughters, she was diagnosed with stage 4 hienamachla. And she struggled with this for 4 years. And at the age of 18, she passed away. After she passed away, and even before she passed away, I had constant guilt trips. Why didn't I take her to the doctor before? Why? When she complained that her leg hurts, why didn't I take her? Why didn't I take her? Why did I take her to acupuncturist? Why did I? And it was killing me. It was killing me. You know how we know if something comes from the good side, tzad kedusha, or tzad the opposite? How do we know? It's according to the result. If something comes from tzad kedusha, the result will be motivation for change, motivation to do better, hope, simcha. Yeah? If it's coming from the other side, the result is going to be despair, lack of motivation, depression. You're going to wallow in your suffering and in your sorrow. And that's what usually guilt trips do. They just leave you buried in this, ongoing thoughts. Maybe I should have, why didn't I could have, and so on and so forth. And I'm telling you, ladies, the only thing that took me out of it, the only thing that raised me out of this guilt trips was to understand and to internalize that it's not coming from the good side. It looks like it's coming from the good side, but it's not. Because even if I would have taken my daughter in the beginning and she wasn't diagnosed at stage 4, she was diagnosed at stage 1. It doesn't matter. Hashem decided that she will come back to him at the age of 18. I have nothing to do with the matter. Nothing. This is the decision that Hashem made for her. And anything that I have to do with it was just, from the side. The fact that she would have to struggle for 4 years and then pass away, Hashem decided already to begin with. So what? I don't have any responsibility? Obviously I have responsibility for the future. This is what tshuva does. What tshuva? Tshuva is charata, regret, but then right away, Kabbalah le'atid. Kabbalah le'atid meaning I'm accepting to change for the future. You don't stay with a charata. You don't stay with the guilt trips and the cry and the depression. You have to move on. Okay, so now that I understand my mistake, now let me see how I'm moving on forward from here. What am I doing different than I did until now? And that's what guilt trip's supposed to give you, so to speak. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to come out with from regret. Not to stay with the guilt trip. Because usually what happens is the guilt trip don't let you go. They just keep on going and going and going. That you're not moving on. It doesn't add any motivation. It's not a catalyst for change. It just leaves you buried in depressing thoughts. Yeah? So, ladies, whatever happens, Hashem already preordained. You have nothing to do with it. If it happened, Hashem meant it to happen. It looks like you made it happen, but it's not true. Hashem made it happen. What do you have to do? For the future, you need to understand, okay, from now on, I will do this and this differently. But not because of you, whatever happened, happened. Yeah? Understood? So I'm moving on. The last thing that causes us a lot of ogmas nefesh, melancholy, depressing thoughts, is the future. The future is about worrying about what will be. What will be? Will I have parnasa? What will be? Everybody will be healthy. What will be? What will be? What will be? We were always worried about what the future has in store for us. People don't like surprises. People don't like the unknown. They want to know. They want to be in control. They want to see what's going on. They don't like to be in the dark. And because of that, we have fears and anxieties, yeah? So we have regrets about the past. We have not being satisfied with the present. But for the future, we have anxieties and fears. Okay? What's the remedy for that? The remedy for this is to keep telling to yourself like a mantra. Like a mantra. והבוטח בהשם חסד יסובבנו. When you trust Hashem, Hashem will surround you with kindness. Even if there was supposed to be, God forbid, a decree upon you, through bitachon, trusting Hashem, Hashem will annul the decree as a reward for your bitachon. In other words, even if a person had to go through something in his life, that's the journey that God ordained, predestined for them. That's the journey that you need to go through. And it's a tough journey, even if it was preordained already, through bitachon, through trusting Hashem, Hashem will annul that journey for you and let you be at the place where you're supposed to be without that hurtful, painful journey through bitachon. Why does he do it? As a reward for your bitachon. Always tell yourself, והבוטח בהשם חסד יסובבנו. הבוטח בהשם חסד יסובבנו. Whenever you feel in fear, whenever you feel anxious, remind yourself, whatever I'm worried about, I can be in control of. I can change it. I can make it better. How? Through trusting Hashem. The reward for trusting Hashem is immense, immense. Hashem can annul anything and everything through bitachon. So remember, there's no point in worrying. There's no point in fears, because you can change the future. The future is never predestined, etched in stone. You can always have the ability to change your future. God gave it to us in our hands, and it's called bitachon. Boteach ba'Hashem chesed yesovevenu. Even if he doesn't deserve chesed yesovevenu. Okay? According to Yalkut Shimoni, even if he's a rasha, and he's boteach chesed yesovevenu, kindness will surround him. So we are able to surround our lives with kindness. So I went through all the three factors that make a person melancholic, depressed, not motivated. Number one, unhappiness with the present situation. The remedy for that, you chose it, and it's for your best. Remember, it's for your best. Number two, past, all kinds of guilt trips and self-blame. And I'm saying whatever happened was meant to happen. You have nothing to do with it. Once it happened, it was meant to happen. Before it happened, you have Bechir Chavshis. After it happened, it was meant to happen. That was Hashgacha Pratis. Yeah? So it meant to happen. Are you supposed to learn a lesson for the future? Of course, but that doesn't have anything to do with what happened in the past. Number three is for future. Future, the more bitachon you have, the more calm you're going to be, the more you understand that you can really change your destiny. The changing of your destiny is in your own hands. If you, I promise you, my ladies, I promise you from my heart, if you work on these three different reasons that I just gave you for lack of happiness, I promise you that you will feel happy. You will be calm. You will be content with your life. Because everything will just, you'll feel tranquility. That's what I call Simcha. Simcha is a tranquility, not necessarily to go into dance in the street. Simcha is tranquility. Shalvat nefesh. You're happy, you're calm, you're not worried about everything all the time. You're present right now for your husband, for your kids, and so on and so forth. This is what makes a person happy. You understand? When Avram Avinu went to Shecht Yitzchak for Akedas Yitzchak, he thought he was slaughtering his son. Yet, Hashem talked to him, which means if Hashem talked to a Navi, that means that the Navi is besimcha. A Navi is happy, which means while Avram Avinu going to do Akedas Yitzchak, he is happy. What does it mean he's happy? He's not dancing over there making jokes. What does it mean he's happy? How could Hashem talk to him while he's going to slaughter his son? It's because Avram Avinu knew that everything that happens is good, because Hashem made it happen, and that made him tranquil and happy. This kind of happiness is what I'm talking about. I want to take these three things and apply it to chinuch, to parenting, okay? So I'm going to start with the past, move on to the future, and then go to the present. Okay, past. Do you remember that I told you past is all the guilt trips that we have, right? In parenting, mothers have many, many guilt trips. Many guilt trips. I think much more than husbands, yeah? Many guilt trips. Why didn't I do this? Why did he come out like this? Maybe if I would be less strict on him, he will turn out better. Maybe there'll be more shalom bayis between me and my husband, not so many fights, then the kids are going to turn out better. Maybe, I should have, I could have, I would have, and so on and so forth. And you are wallowing in self-blame because of where the kids are. So, what is the remedy for this? The remedy for this, ladies, is wherever your child is right now is where Hashem wants him to be. How do I know? Because if it wouldn't be like this, he wouldn't be here. Whatever your child went through in your parenting, in the household, in school, whatever he went through, at this present moment, you need to understand and internalize. He had to go through this for the benefit of his neshama. Hashem wanted him to go through that. How do I know that Hashem wanted him to go through that? Because he went through that. Because it happened. If it happens, that means Hashem wanted it to happen. Nobody can oops Hashem. Nobody. There's no place that Hashem says, oops, I didn't mean that. No. Whatever happened is accurately preordained and planned by Hashem from 6 days of creation. So wherever your child is holding right now, this is where he's supposed to be. There's no room for guilt trip. He would end up in this way whether you did what you're supposed to do or didn't do what you're supposed to do. That's where he's supposed to end up. Does it leave you with no responsibility? Does it mean that you did everything perfect and you don't need to change? No, that's not what I'm saying. Changing is for the future. Charata is for the past. Don't stay in the past. Think about the future, how I can change now my parenting, the way that I deal with my kids, my shalom bayis. For the future, it should give you motivation. It shouldn't give you despair. You understand? Guilt trips leave you with despair. How did I do this? Why did I yell at him? Why did I tell him that? I drove him out of the house, and so on and so forth. It's all about the past, and you're getting stuck in the past. Being stuck in the past is the exact opposite of motivation to change. You understand? Motivation to change meaning I'm looking forward for the future. What can I do to change? What can I do to better my relationship, to better myself, to improve everything? And being stuck in the past, it means that I have nothing to do. I'm completely consumed by negative feelings, negativity, toxicity, and completely self-absorbed. It's not a catalyst for change. That's exactly what Lot's wife did. Lot's wife that we just read a few parshas ago, yeah? She looked back. When she was to move forward, she looked back. Why did she look back? It was hard for her to leave the past. She didn't want to change. So she looked back at her past all the time. That's what we do with guilt trips. We're going back all the time, looking at our back, looking at our past. It's not motivating us to change. So that's what she did. She looked back because it was hard for her to move on from the past. It was hard for her to change. And where is she today? You can meet her on the way to Eilat as a pillar of salt. And you know why she became salt? Salt has the quality of not changing. Yeah, it's a preservative. It's not changing. Just like she didn't want to change, she became salt who doesn't change. We don't want to be stuck in the past. We want to move on, to learn our lesson and to move on to the future, to become a better mother, a better wife, a better Jew, a better chassid. That's what we want to do. Guilt trips don't help with that. Charata helps. Charata, regret, moving forward. What do I do different for the future? So, what does it help you in parenting? What I just said. The moment you understand that your child is where he's supposed to be, it's exactly where he's supposed to be, you learn to accept him. You learn to love him for who he is. Right now, he's here because Hashem wanted him to be in this space. Hashem wanted him to be in this state. So I love him unconditionally in this state because understand this is the Ratzon of Hashem. That's what Hashem wanted. It doesn't have to do with me and what I did to him and what I didn't do to him. He was supposed to be in this state at this moment, in the present. In the future, Bezrat Hashem, he'll be better. In the present, this is where he is. It makes you, it enables you to love him unconditionally. Because you don't have guilt trips about he should have been like this, and I should have been like this, and he should have turned out like this. You accept him the way he is. And that love is so, so, so important. If somebody would ask me what's the most important in parenting, I would tell him love, 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 love him. I want to tell you, Ishmael, we don't hear about him much after he's being kicked out of Avram's house, yeah? He's being kicked out. We don't hear about him. We only hear about him again when he comes to bury Avraham, and he lets Yitzchak go first. And from here, Rashi learns that he did tshuva. But what happened in between? So I'm going to tell you the secret what happened in between. It's from Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, which is Rabbi Eliezer Horkenus, which is a midrash. So the Rabbi Eliezer says like this, that after he left, his wife his mother, Hagar, got him a wife from Moab. And he married a wife. 3 years later, Avram Avinu goes to check on him. Apparently, he knew his location. He knew where he is. He knew it. He knew exactly where to find him. And he goes to find him. And he goes on his camel. And he promised Sarah that he's not going to stay for a long time. He just wants to check on his son. Yeah? He loves his son. You understand? Yeah? He comes, and he doesn't get off the camel. And he sees his wife, the wife of Ishmael. And he asks her, excuse me, where's Ishmael? And she tells him, he's not here. He went to the desert with his mother to get some fruit, some dates, whatever. Yeah? So he wants to test her. He tells her, excuse me, can you give me some bread and water? I'm very tired from the way on the desert. Very, very tired. So she tells him, I don't have not bread and not water. In other words, wicked. Yeah? So he tells her, oh, okay, I got you. Please tell Ishmael when he comes back that an old man from Canaan came to visit him. He doesn't introduce himself to her. He doesn't say it's his father. He said, tell him when he comes back, an old man from Canaan came to visit him. And he told him that his house is not good for him. He should change it. What did he mean his house is not good for him? His wife. His wife is wicked. But he couldn't tell her you were not good for him. So he said his house. He understood. He thought he probably will understand me. He's my son. He will understand what I mean. Now, she thought that he wants her to renovate the house, to build a new tent. I don't know what. So when Ishmael came, she tells him, you know, there was an old man today coming from Canaan, and he told me to tell you that your house is not good. Change your house. Ishmael understood right away what his father meant. He understood it was his father. He understood exactly what he meant. And you know what happened? He divorced her on the spot. Divorced her. Afterwards, his mother brought him another wife. Her name was Fatima from Egypt. And he married her. 3 years later, Avram again comes to visit him, and the same story happens again. Avram comes, and he says, can you give me some bread and water? And this time, she brings bread and water. She gives him bread and water. He understands she's a good-hearted woman. Fatima, but a good-hearted woman. And so he tells her, very good, and he davens that the house of Ishmael will be filled with all the blessings and all the good. And then he leaves. He doesn't even see his son. When his son comes back, his wife told him what happened, and he starts crying because he's so emotional, and he understands his father still loves him. Why did I bring this story for you? Because I'm just thinking, Ishmael was just kicked out of the house with his mother because of Sarah. Yeah? What do you think are the feelings that he had in his heart? Probably resentment, hatred, anger, frustration, right? Not good feelings. I was kicked out of the house because of this woman. Can you imagine if, God forbid, chas v'shalom, you kicked out your son, you're out of the house, and he goes away and he lives in a basement with some I don't know what, some goya, some I don't know what, and all of a sudden 3 years later you remember to come in to visit him, and you come and you visit him and you say, I don't like this girl, get rid of her. What would he tell you? What would he tell you? Excuse me? You kicked me out of the house. You didn't want me in your life. Go fly a kite. Don't tell me what to do now. Why would I listen to you when you didn't want me in your life? And my question is, what made Avram so powerful? That the moment Ishmael heard a little bit of a rebuke, a little bit of a guidance, right away, he divorced her. Right away he said, yes, sir. Even though you kicked me out of the house, he came to visit me only 3 years later. The moment you tell me she's not good for me, I divorce her. You know why? Because he felt that his father loved him. Throughout his hardships and throughout that his father had to kick him out of the house, his father loved him and he felt it. How do we know it? When Hashem wants him to bring Yitzchak for the Akedah, so he tells him very simply, Kachna et bincha, take your son. So what does it say? I have two sons. And then Hashem says, move on. Et yechidcha, your only son. Obviously it's Yitzchak. And he says, I don't know, he's an only son for his mother, he's an only son for his mother. And then he continues, says, Asher ahavta, the one that you love. And what does Avram answer? I love them both. Both. He's not lying. Chash v'shalom. He loves, Avram loves Yitzchak and Ishmael the same. The same. And that love was so tangible that Ishmael felt it even though Avram kicked him out. Sometimes you have to do unpleasant things. Sometimes you have to give criticism, rebuke, even a little bit of a punishment. But if the child feels that you love him, he will accept it. He will accept it with love. He will understand that you're doing it out of love. So love is number one in any chinuch, whatever you want, whenever you want your chinuch to really stay with a person, first he needs to feel that you love him. If you don't love him, I have nothing to talk to you, I have nothing to tell you. I want to tell you that I heard a story from a person that he's an old man. He was one of the liberating army, the American army that came to liberate Auschwitz. And he's saying that in the beginning, they gave all the survivors, they gave them all kinds of food. And what happened was because their stomach was not used to eating anything, so they ate and then they died. So many people that survived the Holocaust actually died at the liberation. So the American army gave a command to all the soldiers, whatever you do, don't give them food. Whatever you do, even if they cry in front of you, don't give them food. And so this man said that it was very hard for him not to give food. He had chocolates in his pockets and candy in his pockets, and he wanted to give it to the children at least. And he said, all of a sudden, one child comes toward him, and he's crying and crying and crying. He said, give me food, I'm about to die, give me food. And he wanted so much to give him, but he knew that if he will give him, it will be for his, he will die, he will really die. And so he tells him, I want to give you food, but I can't. Your stomach is not good enough to digest it. It's not strong enough. I can't give you food. But then he was thinking to himself, okay, so I can't give him food, but what could I give him? What could I give him? And then he decides, I could give him a hug. Maybe he didn't get a hug for a long time. I can give him a hug. And he takes him and he hugs him. And all of a sudden that kid hugged him strong, and he started crying. And he said for 10 minutes, they're standing there hugging each other, crying in each other's arms. He cries for the kid cries for his life, crying, and hugging strong. He felt that kid didn't get a hug for a long time. After 10 minutes, they finished the hug, and he picks up his eyes, and what does he see? A line waiting, a line of children waiting for what? For a hug. They're all standing there waiting also to be hugged. And he took one by one, and he said for hours he just hugged them. He said many years later he met some of them, these kids that he hugged, and they told him that hug was as important, if not more important, than food. Even though he didn't give them food, the hug gave them love. The hug gave him the ability to feel valid, that they exist. It gave them strength for the future. It like established the whole future, that hug, because love is powerful. So if anything, you need to give your children love. The way to love them is to accept where they are. Our children did not come to this world to give us nachas. I'm sorry. I burst my bubbles. I'm going to burst also yours. They didn't come here to give us nachas. Hashem gave them to us for a different reason, not to give us nachas. If they will give us nachas, that's a bonus. But that's not why they came to this world. So the moment they don't exactly give you the usual nachas, you still need to understand that's where my child needs to be, and I need to love him for who he is. And whatever happened in the past was supposed to happen. His journey is that way, and he's supposed to be in this state right now. And for that, I love him. And for that, I accept him. This is about the past. Where are we going now? Who's with me? To the future. So I said before about the future that many times we're scared about the future, what will be. So it also pertains to Chinuch. Many times we're worried about our children. How are they going to come out? Are they going to be good? Are they going to be menschlich? Are they going to be frum? Are they going to do kibbut avayim when I get older? And so on and so forth. You're worried what will come out. You see them now and you're like, oh my gosh, she's already rebellious. What's going to be in the future? Or, oh, I see already she doesn't care, but she doesn't take good care of herself. What's going to be when she has a... We're worried all the time. And I'm telling you, the worry never stops. Yeah, I have already children that are married, and I'm still, worried. Yeah? The worry about the future. What did I say? What's the remedy for this? Haboteach ba'Hashem chesed yesovevenu. The more you trust Hashem, the more you'll understand things are going to turn out good. Everything will be good. My children are going to grow to be good people, frum people, people that are a light into the environment. I believe. Why I believe? Because I trust that Hashem is good, and Hashem wants this to happen. My trust in Hashem draws it down. What you're scared of, when you're scared of something, it draws that fear down. You understand? When you're scared of something, you bring it onto you. And I'm not the one that says it. It's Eov who says it. Ve'me'asher yagorti yavoli. Whatever I'm scared of is going to come to me. When you're always fearful of something, you're bringing it on you. So what I'm saying here is stop being fearful. Stop being worried about the future. Things are going to work out. Everything will be good. Everything good, but good, betov anir v'anigle, are revealed good. Why? Because I trust Hashem. Hashem is good. Hashem will do only good to me. What will it give you? Number one, it gives you the gift of being present in the present. Instead of worrying all the time and not being available for your kids, not being available for your husband, not being available for life, you are present. You have shalvat nefesh, you're peaceful. Things are going to be good. I don't need to worry about it. But what it gives you in chinuch, in parenting, is that the moment you understand that your child is going to be good, all of a sudden, you trust him. He's going to be good. And because of that, I'm not scared anymore. I'm not worried about all his choices. I trust that he will make the right choices. I trust that he's making the right choices. I don't need to be on top of him all the time. I give him space, and most of everything, I give him respect. Respect. I respect him as a person because I know that no matter where he's holding now, he's going to turn out good. It gives me the ability to respect him for who he will be in the future. Not for who he is now necessarily. Maybe I'm not happy with where he is now. Maybe I don't respect that space, but I know that he has a potential to be amazing in the future, and for that, I give him respect. The respect that you give your children, my ladies, listen carefully. It's basis of any education. If somebody would tell me, what's the first thing? I would tell him love. What's the second thing? I would tell him respect. Respect your kids. Respect them. They're human beings. Just because you gave birth to them doesn't mean that you're better than them. Doesn't mean that you don't need to respect them. You need to respect your kids. Now, what does it mean to respect? I'm saying, what does it give the child to respect? So, Shlomo HaMelech says in Mishle, Proverbs, Shlomo HaMelech says like this, Al tochach letz pen isnaeka. Don't rebuke a fool, a scoffer, a clown, because he would hate you. He doesn't want to hear any rebuke. Rebuke hochach lachacham veyaheveka, and he would love you. If you rebuke a wise person, he would love you. On the surface, it looks like he's talking about two different people. Who to rebuke and who not to rebuke. Who to give criticism to and who not to give. Who to guide and who not to guide. On the one hand, you can't guide a scoffer. You can't tell him what to do. You can't criticize him because he's not interested. Leave me alone. I'm not interested in this. Stop hucking the china. I'm not interested. Shlomo HaMelech says, don't try it, because if you give criticism to somebody who's not willing to hear it, it's going to create distance between you. The opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. Distance between you. He's not going to like it. He's not going to like you. He's not going to like to hang out around you. On the other hand, there are people that want to hear criticism. They want to improve. They want to become better people. Those people, they would love your criticism. They would appreciate you for your criticism. Those people you can criticize. That's the pshat. On the surface, it talks about who to criticize, who not to criticize. The Shlah HaKadosh in his book of Kabbalah, Shalah, he says like this, it's not only talking about who to criticize, it's talking about how to criticize, how to guide. Al tochach letz. When you're looking at your child like a letz, like a fool, you don't respect him and you give him criticism and you try to guide him, he will hate you. It will create a distance between you two. He's not going to appreciate it. Why? Because he feels that you don't respect him. He sees from your body language, from the way you talk to him, that you don't respect him. If you don't respect me, I don't want to hear from you. The most important thing for a person is his respect, his dignity. He wants people to respect him. It's a necessity. And the moment you don't respect him, he says, I don't want to hear from you. So don't rebuke a late, meaning don't rebuke somebody as if he is a late, as if he's a clown, he's a scoffer. You don't respect him. Don't rebuke him. Don't guide him. Rebuke a chacham. You can criticize somebody that you look as chacham, that you respect him. He's a wise person. That person you can rebuke because he would feel that you're criticizing him, but you're respecting him. Overall, you respect him, his choices, his personality, but you have something that you want to criticize him about, a little thing, a specific local thing, not a big deal. That he would appreciate. So the Shlah HaKadosh says it's not about who to criticize, it's about how to criticize. A person needs respect. If you don't respect your children, you cannot guide them. You understand? That's what the Shalah says. Look at them as worthy human beings, and then they will be affected. Then they will want to get your guidance. This is what the Shalah HaKadosh says. What do I say here? The more you understand that your child is going to turn out good, the more calm you are about him, the more you're able to respect him. The more you trust him, the more you're able to respect him. It's a must. So again, past all the guilt trips give you the ability to love if you don't have guilt trips. Future worries and anxieties, if you don't have them, give you the ability to respect. and give value to your children. And now I'm at the last one. The last one is the present. So I said before that the test of the present is that you're unhappy with the situation. You envision something else. Like somebody told me, I was teaching the other day in Manhattan, and somebody told me, at the age of 35, I imagine that I'm already going to have kids. And I'm still 35, and I don't even have any candidate to have kids with, nothing. She said, I can't take it. This is the test that we're dealing with every single day. That you want your day to be like this and to look like this. You want your life to look like this, and it doesn't look like that. And what did I say? What's the remedy for it? The remedy for it is to understand that everything you're going through is for your best. You don't know how it's for your best, but it is for your best. I want to tell you something to reiterate what I just said. In one of the parenting book of Miriam Adahan, she writes at the end that when she came to Israel, she met in a ulpan. Ulpan is to learn Hebrew. She met a lady that was very, very like regal and royal, very, very, she was very curious to hear about her. Who is she? What is she about? You know, she looked very, solemn, very to herself, very reserved, but she looked like a queen. She came to her one day and she told her, can you tell me, where are you from? You look like so special. So she tells her that she came from Persia, from Iran. And she traveled all the way from Iran to Turkey, and she came to Israel. And then she tells her the story, one of the stories of how she came back, how she came from Iran. And that's what I want to tell you. She was very, very, very wealthy in Iran. She married a person that had plants, factories everywhere, all over Iran for Persian rugs. And she was so wealthy. She had 4 different houses in different places, very, very wealthy. She had private chauffeur. At that time, she had 3 kids, 1, 7, 5, and 3. 3 kids. And she was living it up. That's why she looks, she looks very regal, because she grew up very wealthy, and she married into wealth, and so on and so forth. She said one day, everything was okay in Iran by the Shah. The Shah, all he cared about was the economy. So the Jews are good, bringing good economy, so it's good. When these things turned over, when the revolution, the Islamic revolution started, and the, how do you call him, no? The Khomeini of then, yeah? He took over. And she said then the fanatic Islamists took over, and they started killing the Jews and robbing them and so on and so forth. All they wanted really was, but basically, if you're infidel, if you don't believe in Muhammad, so you get killed. But not just that, they also wanted your money. So she said one day, her chauffeur, private chauffeur, runs into the house, and he tells her, we have to run now we have to go. And she said, why? What happened? And he said, because right now, a group of Muslims came into the factory, and they killed her husband, and they killed her father-in-law, and they robbed everything, and now they're on the way here to the house. So we have to run. Take your things and run. So right away, she said, by the way, my 3 kids. What am I going to do? My 3 kids, they're not here. So he said, I'm going to take you, pick them up from wherever they are, this kindergarten, that kindergarten, and then we'll go. She picks it up. What? She picks up, yeah. Okay. Anyway, she picks it up, she takes the kids, and she is like basically on the way, she's running away. She took a little bit of jewelry, and she runs away. She picked up her kids, he run away with her to a different city, and she stays there, and she stays until basically she's able to get out. And then, after a few days, she contacts a smuggler, and the smuggler takes her to the border to Turkey, and from Turkey she needs to come on a boat to Israel, okay? Her way from Iran to Turkey, nightmare. It was a few days of a nightmare. The person was a big Muslim, looked like a gorilla, and he was basically threatening every 2 seconds. If the kid cries, I'm going to shoot him. If the kid does this, I'm going to shoot him. And she learned to hate him because every little thing that the kid did, he wanted to shoot him. Every little thing. Because why? He said, if not, they're gonna discover us. And if they discover us, I'm going to die also. I'm going to shoot him. She didn't care at all about her and her children or anything like this. And she said the kids cried because they're kids. And every time the kids cried, he wanted to shoot him. He said, no, please, no, please. She learned to hate him like a malach hamaves. Hated him. Right before he brings her to the border of Turkey, she's about to go to Turkey. to pass the border, and he tells her, can I tell you something? And she said, what do you want to tell me? What else? So he tells her, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. She looks at him. She said, what? You're not Muslim? He said, no. I'm Israeli from the Mossad. And I'm coming here to smuggle you, to smuggle people. So she said, so why were you so? What? Why were you so bad to me? Why were you so cruel? So he told her, believe me, every time I was cruel to you, I was crying inside. But I knew that if the kids are going to cry, you're never going to make it. You're never going to. If I wouldn't have been tough with you, you will never make it to the border. Never. What did she tell him after that? Thank you. Thank you for being tough with me, for being cruel to me. Because through that, you saved my life. Sometimes Hashem looks like he's doing things to us that are not, are not pleasant. We need to understand. Hashem does it for a reason, and Hashem is with us in our suffering. Don't ever lose hope. And now I want to go to the present again. The moment you are confident, the moment you know that these kids are yours because they chose you. Up there, I told you, before you come into the world, you give consent. These kids are mine. I want these kids. And the kids did the same thing. I want this mother. It gives you confidence. It gives you the understanding that in potential you're the best parent for that kid. Otherwise, Hashem would give that child to somebody else. So all the experts and all the books and all of this, they know, but not as well as you. You are the parent, nobody else. That gives you confidence. And the moment you have confidence, girls, the moment you have confidence, that's already 60% of success. The moment you know that you're going to succeed, you're 60% there because you know that you have the power to do it. You believe in yourself that you have the power to do it, and that gives you the confidence to know how to parent and what to do and what to say. Also, the moment you're confident and the kids say that you're confident, they also get confident because when a parent is hesitant, the kids feel this hesitance and they feel, wait a second, they lose their security. You are their security. The parents are the kids' security. If you're not exactly sure about how to do, what to do, if to do, the kids feel it and the kids lose their security also. It's important for the parent to feel confident. One more thing, if a parent is confident, then the boundaries that he gives the kids are reasonable. He's confident. He doesn't give boundaries and discipline out of fear, out of urgency. He's calm. I know what I'm doing, and now let me think it through and give boundaries. The boundaries are not going to be, this discipline is not going to be too weak because you're so scared of your children, and it's also not going to be too strict to stifle them. There's no stifling here. God forbid, chas v'shalom. You're supposed to be full of confidence that you know how to deal with this neshama the best in the world. How do I know? Because Hashem gave it to you. That confidence in parenting gives the kids confidence too. They're not going to try too much to test your limits. They're going to respect you. They're going to trust you because you show them that you're confident. I want to wrap it up. Let's see if we understood what I said here. Yeah, let's see if... Past. When I talk about the past and I have guilt trips and I get out of the guilt trips, what does it give my children now? Huh? Love, because I accept them the way they are. I know that that's what it's supposed to be. And I don't feel guilty. It's not my fault. Wherever they are, it's not my fault. For the good things, I take credit, yeah? But for the bad things, Hashem wanted it this way. How about the future? When I'm not worried about the future, what do I give my kids? What does he give my kids? Respect. Because I know that they're going to turn out good. I'm tranquil. I'm good. I'm good. I'm confident that they're going to turn out good. So I give them respect. And kids need respect. And when I understand that everything that happens to me now is for my best, and I chose them and they chose me, what does it give me in parenting? Confidence. 3 important things: love, respect, and confidence. Hopefully, we'll take all this to heart, and we'll try our best, and hopefully, with all our efforts, past efforts, present efforts, Mashiach will already come, and we're going to show him and see, you see, we toiled, we worked, and this is the fruit of our labor. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Is this good? Thank you so much, Mrs. Borowitz. Your words were so meaningful, and I feel now confident I'm going to treat my kids with more love, with more respect. And thank you so much. It was really so touching. I wanted to tell you we have the pleasure now of having a mother and daughter choir of our very own Beis Rivka mothers. Mrs. Clara Chaya Epstein, Mushka Epstein, Mrs. Basi Friedman, Ahuva Friedman, Mrs. Chani Vogel, and Chavela Vogel.
Cradled in my arms, my child, I dream for you. Your future I'm painting in my mind. I look into your eyes like only a mother can do, in awe of the beauty that I find.
My pure and precious neshama, how I want to feed your soul. I yearn to help you reach for the sky, to show you your worthiness, and with that to keep you whole, though the struggles in life may intensify.
Oh, as time moves on, you'll come upon darkness and confusion, an endless race, a senseless chase, peer pressure and delusion. How will you hold your preciousness? How will you see your value when all around there's noise that's pulling you? With a planted seed, growth of this tree forms into many branches. Generations of education, a chinuch that enhances our life with simcha and with strength. We serve Hashem with joyful pride, with the Rebbe leading us fear, pressure, and delusion.
Yes, I will hold my preciousness. I will see and know my value. When all around there's noise that's pulling to me.
With a planted seed, growth of this tree forms into many branches. Generations of education, a chinuch that enhances our life with simcha and with strength. Hashem, I turn to you for the gift of Beis Rivka. Thank you. Together, you and I will carry through.
Beis Rivka mothers and daughters, thank you so much. That was beautiful. As we all know, this year is Hakel, and you heard already so much about Hakels, and I'm sure you participated in many, many gatherings. Now we have an opportunity to join for Hakels, not for just our own Yir Shemayim, but for that of our children. There's nothing like getting together with fellow mothers to discuss the Rebbe's timeless words and how to implement them. Introducing Branches Hakel.
A room packed with women, mothers who send their daughters to the same school as you. How many people in this room do you recognize? How many of the ladies in the room have a daughter in your child's class? Do you know all the mothers of the children your daughter may play with every day? Introducing Class Hakels. For many years of our rich history, every 7 years the Yidden would experience Hakel. It is a mitzvah, command of the hour, to gather. Men, women, and children unite to be re-inspired and reinvigorated. 5783. Hakel is alive. Hakel is happening. And it's happening here with you, our Beis Rivka mothers. Support each other on this wonderful chinuch journey as mothers. Here's how it'll work. Preschool, pre-1A, transition, primary, and elementary mothers. Get cozy with Coco while you meet the mothers of your daughter's class. Learn from a prepared packet and enjoy a fun activity. Hakel and get to know the mothers of your daughter's classmates. High school mothers, gather by grade for real farbrengens about chinuch. There is one missing piece to make all of this happen. You. Sign up to help arrange the time and location of your class's Hakel. We give you all the supplies to create the evening. Get together, support each other, talk, Hakel, and enjoy.
So just to explain a little bit about the Hakels for Beis Rivka, there's going to be Hakel meetups for each class from preschool through elementary. You're going to have your own prepared learning packet plus a fun activity. And then you're going to be able to meet with other mothers from your child's class, and you can discuss chinuch with them. For high school mothers, you'll meet with mothers in the same grade as your daughters, and there's going to be a farbrengener also who's going to be farbrengening with you. And the way that we're going to initiate it is you have in front of you these two papers with QR codes. You see them? So one of them says, help arrange your class's Hakel. So all you need to do is scan that paper and fill out the questions. And there's another paper, another QR code, and that is to be involved and volunteer for branches. So if you scan that, you can volunteer for branches or give us ideas of anything that you would like to see. And I also wanted to tell you about a podcast we have called Optimizing Mothers Podcast. You can subscribe and listen to all previous episodes. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This was a wonderful evening. I hope you feel supported and inspired. And may we merit the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days. Thank you so much.